Good evening. Welcome to Living the Run. I'm your host, Rex Stevens, along with the reason this show runs. And the reason...
You're talking about Max Woodcock, right?
Producer Max Woodcock. You got it. Co-host, Olympian, Paul Terek. Paul, how you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Just letting the week wind down.
Wind down? I thought today was hump day, Paul.
Well, tomorrow's the beginning of my week, actually. I was kind of living vicariously through everybody else, but... Thanks for reminding me. Thank you.
Hey, excited about today's show, and we actually have a co-host in today. She didn't know it, but we're talking about friend of Living the Run, been here before, 2008 Olympian and 2012 hopeful in the Heptathlon, Sharon Day. Sharon, thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys.
I think you're overstaying our welcome with Sharon here. Come on, do an interview. Oh, hey, co-host. Hey, why don't you produce this too? Hey, you want to get us some coffee? I think, Rex, there's a line, and I think you're approaching it quickly.
It would be approaching it to ask her for coffee. We should have brought her something, in this case, doing us a favor.
Like it was my job. I didn't know. I didn't look at the dry erase board.
The first thing we got to say is to former host and starter of Living the Run, Ryan Ferran. Last time Sharon was in studio, there was big talk about how dirty your hands were, Paul.
Because I worked. I did stuff. I do manly things. He gets his nails done. Well, I don't know if that's actually true. Don't quote me on that. That's just speculation. But yeah, it was a hotly debated subject on our show.
Sharon, talk to us a little bit about how your training's going. We got June 29th and June 30th up in Eugene, Olympic trials. I know you got to be getting excited, just a couple weeks away. How's training thus far? How's the health of the body, and how things going?
Training is going great right now. My body feels so good. I'm ready to go. I'd be ready if it was tomorrow. Can't wait.
That's an interesting point. When it comes down to it and we're a couple weeks away and you feel ready, how do you approach the practices coming in here to make sure that what you feel today is the same as what you will feel in a couple weeks?
Definitely a little bit more volume this week because I still have 2.5 weeks until I compete, and just making sure the intensity is up throughout practice and that I'm getting quality as opposed to quantity right now, just staying sharp.
What does that look like in the practice? Is that change in duration of what you're doing out there? I know that a lot of times you've been training a couple times a day, doing different types of workouts, weights, you maybe throws in the morning, runs in the afternoon, what have you. Does that change? Do we go down to one time a day? Do we still go out there a couple times a day? What's duration? What are the sets, the reps look like?
Yeah, it's definitely shorter right now. Like I said, quality as opposed to quantity. Practices are a little bit shorter, but a little bit more intense at the same time. So we're trying to do less reps, but make them all really good.
Got it. In 2008, you went to the Olympics for the high jump. You switched it over to the heptathlon.
Switch.
Big switcheroo, but hey, switcheroo, success, none the same.
Yep.
National champion this year, earlier in the year, obviously succeeding, improving. What's the difference in the mindset maybe going in as a multi-event versus going over as a single-event athlete, potentially here in the Olympic trials and then the Olympics?
Well, I think it's still very similar. I know I have 6 more events to worry about now, but that's why I like the heptathlon, because there's so much variety. It's not all riding on one thing, one event, one jump, So it's the same preparation, same focus, same, you got to get pumped up, got to be ready to go, and just make it happen when the day comes.
I think the multi-events are a lot more difficult in the regard that you don't have a trials and a final. The individual events have a trial and a final, and you got to go, and it's you don't have to be at the top of your game on the trials day. You just have to be consistent and solid, and then it's so you kind of almost get 2 opportunities to compete on that stage. You get the trials portion, and then you get the finals portion. Where the multi events go, you go out there, the gun goes off, and your performance is just what your performance is. There isn't a, oh man, I had a little bit of an off day. Yeah, when the finals get here, I'm going to do that, because when you get there and the gun goes off, you're in the finals.
You're listening to Living the Run here on 1280 ESPN Radio, The Ticket. You can find us on livingtherun.com. We're talking to Olympian Sharon Day, who's set to hit the Olympic trials on June 29th and 30th up in Eugene, Oregon. You can take a look, too. Sharon, I know we've talked about sponsorships on this show, getting people to join what we're trying to do here on Living the Run. I know ASICS has sponsored you, and we put a video up. How much fun is it doing those videos? Is it fun at all? How many takes does it take to make this video? If you guys check it out on livingtherun.com, ASICS did a pretty cool photo shoot video with Sharon. Are those things fun? And again, do they take up a whole day? Is it a true practice session, or is that just totally rigged photo shoots for your javelin throws, for your running up steps and all that kind of stuff?
No, that was like a full day. That was more than a full day of event work in a lot of different events. But it was a lot of fun. I love doing that stuff where they fly me out to wherever and say we're going to video, we're going to take photos of you, to put on our website for the fans to see for promotional type stuff. So I think that's really cool. It's a fun part of my job that I do, so I love it.
The photo shoot was very interesting. They asked you a couple of questions, and they asked you, what was your favorite event of the 7 events? And obviously, you had to be partial to the high jump going to the Olympics in 2008. But, maybe what is an event that when you first took on the heptathlon that you really was more frustrating than anything, but that you've learned to kind of enjoy a little bit more?
Definitely the shot put. It was by far my least favorite event when I first started, even more than the 8, because the 8, it sucks. It's hard. You get tired, that type of thing. But shot put was so frustrating, and it's so, when you're just learning something, when it's so much failure before there's success, it's really hard.
Coach Harry Merrill was on the show last week, and he talked a little bit about something similar with you, Paul, wasn't it? He was talking to shot put.
I haven't found the success yet. I was stuck on the failure mode, and I just never. It was like right at the end of my career, I just started to see a little bit of light when it was like, boom, book got closed. But no, it's funny. I actually remember. I remember you when you first started throwing shot put, and
it wasn't pretty.
They were always the thing is, you got to find meaning in what you're doing, and you have to find a. Kind of what makes sense to you, Mm-hmm. And I think that was a lot of it. Everybody has their advice. I remember standing out there saying something, and everybody else had their input, but it was just watching your gears turn in your head and watching you try to figure it out. It was one time would be like, oh, that looked almost right, and then the next time would be like, oh man, you need to go all the way back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Talk about your relationship with your coach. We talked to Coach Harry last week, and I know you've had Coach Jack for a while. How does the relationship between your coach change as now a professional athlete to when you were in college on a team like Cal Poly? Is there any changes there? How did you choose Jack? How has that relationship unfolded over several years now as a pro?
I've had a great relationship with Jack from the beginning of when we started working together. And kind of my post-collegiate career after Cal Poly was when I really started focusing on the heptathlon, and so that's when we started spending a lot more time together and a lot more hours on the track and everything like that. But it's worked out great between us. He knows what I need as an athlete and how I operate, and so I think he's really in tune with that, and it's able to gear my training and everything towards that and make sure that I get what I need for me.
Was there are there ever any incidents like what Paul would have with Coach Mara there, where people would describe just almost just an utter fiasco out on the track, where Coach walks one way and Paul walks the other way?
Yeah, I remember witnessing a few of those.
Is the relationship a little calmer between the two of you?
Yeah, I'd say definitely calmer.
She just doesn't yell as much. That's all it is. She just doesn't yell. She still throws stuff. Don't let her lie to you.
Yeah, I throw javelins and shot puts where they're supposed to be thrown in the sector.
Yeah, it was training was a different world for me, and it was funny because you were always very reserved, very quiet, just coming out and getting the work done. And I said, hey, that works for her, but for me, I'm gonna go ahead and toss this implement here, this piece of equipment over there, and run around like a 2-year-old having a tantrum, and then curl up in the fetal position and take a nap over by the discus sector.
Hey, we got a girl on the line that we're going to come back to. We're going to take a quick break. Knows both of you. Kacie Fischer, former track athlete at Cal Poly, is now doing something straight out remarkable. I think she's actually got even a competition lined up that she'd like to take Paul in now that Paul just got new skates that he was telling us about last week. So
why do I tell you anything?
Back in moments with Kacie Fischer. You're not going to want to miss this story.
You're listening to Living the Ride on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Since 1929, Standard Process has been dedicated to providing the highest quality whole food supplements. Their philosophy is simple: to provide nutrients as they are found in nature. Today, scientists are finding more and more evidence demonstrating the benefits of whole food nutrients over high-dose synthetic vitamins. Standard Process's unique products are sold through healthcare professionals who are trained in using whole food nutrition as the first line of defense for the body. Visit www.standardprocess.com for more information or to find a Standard Process healthcare practitioner near you.
My name is Chris Randolph, and as a local track and field Olympic hopeful, I've been seeing Brian Quigley at Slow Wellness Center to help me with injury recovery during my season. Brian has not only helped me with some very extensive injuries, but has also educated me on the specifics of how my body moves when I compete. His knowledge and touch has helped me achieve personal bests in my competition and has also helped me in injury prevention. Becoming a wellness patient of his has helped me stop my injuries before they start, making time spent recovering shorter, leaving more time spent training for my goals. From injury prevention to wellness, Brian understands the patient and holistically helps them achieve their personal health-related goals. So check out Brian Quigley at peakperformanceslo.com and find him on Facebook and comment a response to this ad and get a complimentary 60-minute massage.
This is really cool, Dad.
Yep, nothing better than camping out under the stars.
You think there's any bears out here?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Look, there's the Big Dipper.
Wow, cool.
At Four Seasons Outfitters, they can help you create an outdoor family adventure.
Hey, can we try out my new fishing pole tomorrow?
Sure. Hey, want to roast another marshmallow?
Oh, yeah.
For camping and hiking equipment or fishing and hunting gear, Four Seasons is your hometown outdoor outfitter.
Did you and Grandpa go camping when you were little?
We sure did.
Did you see any bears?
Nope, no bears.
You'll find backpacks and tents, freshwater and deep-sea fishing equipment, campfire cooking supplies, guns and ammo, everything you'll need for your next outdoor adventure.
Hi, guys.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hi, Mom.
So how are my two campers doing? Do you want me to leave the porch light on?
Maybe. Just in case there's a bear.
Even if it's in your own backyard. Four Seasons Outfitters, your outdoor adventure headquarters for more than 25 years. 432 Higuera, San Luis Obispo.
Hey guys, Paul Terek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
We're back with Living the Run.
Back in studio with 2008 Olympic high jumper, set to be 2012 Olympic heptathlete Sharon Day, and yeah, Paul is in studio as well. We are set to have an awesome guest on here. She is currently in Florida. If you haven't heard about this story, Kacie Lauren Fischer, formerly Cal Poly track athlete, is skating across the country. She started this gig April 28th. Solana Beach, California. She is currently in Florida. We're about, 2,400 miles into this thing, rollerblading, set to break several world records, Guinness Book of World Records, raising money for the Special Olympics. Kacie Lauren Fischer, thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
I must tell the listeners, when I talked to you yesterday, you were skating. You put in a bunch of miles already while talking on the phone, and the thing you said to me was, you said, "Can you hear me?" I said, "Yeah, I can hear you fine." You said, "I'm going 30 miles an hour down a hill." I thought that was fantastic stuff. Great stuff for the listeners. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this, and how it's been so far since April 28th.
Well, today is day 47, and we are less than 120 miles away from the Atlantic Ocean, which is just past Jacksonville. And we've been pushing all day, every day for the last 47 days. So it's it's been very challenging. Many different challenges have been coming throughout this entire trip.
During the break, you said today was a tough day. What makes a tough day versus a non-tough day? When I hear somebody skating 60 miles, 70 miles, 80 miles, and then doing it again the next day, they all sound tough to me. What have been some of the challenges along the way? What have been some of the things that have made some of the days easier?
Well, because we have no time for recovery, I've been trying to keep my body just under my max out level. So I haven't been pushing myself 100% every day. I've been pushing about 85%, which is, pretty darn close to maxed out, but I'm trying to prevent myself from needing to recover because we're planning on Florida skating up to New York. So it's 75 days where I don't have time to recover. Although 2 days ago we decided to skate 100 miles just to throw in an extra challenge. So the last 3 days we've skated we've skated about 250 miles, and we're coming kind of in a final kick because one of our Guinness World Records is fastest crossing of America on inline skates. So because we're so close, now we're starting to really kick butt and just you kind of max out our physical potential every day. So today was hard because I have 250 miles on my legs just in 3 days, and we went through Tallahassee, Florida yesterday, and I don't know if it was the small rolling hills, the mileage, the amount of time we put on, but today was rough. Today was the first day that was really, I can't think it was hard for me, this whole trip.
You're listening to Living the Run here on ESPN 1280, The Ticket, and you're hearing Kacie Lauren Fischer talk. You can find her on Facebook. She's got Live, Give, Skate route up there, so you can follow her along through this journey. One thing that the listeners need to know is that one time not too long ago, doctors told you that you would never run again, kind of diagnosed you with an exertional compartment syndrome, had trouble using your legs for a long time. Talk about that. And talk about the journey back there, the mental fortitude it took to not only get you back, but now doing things that most people can't even imagine.
I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. And back in 2005, I started having heart failure, which led into compartment syndrome in my legs, like you were talking about, and I couldn't walk. I actually had to shuffle my feet when I would move around for a couple months, and I had multiple doctors tell me I was never going to run again. That's when I stopped running track at Cal Poly, and they said, just get over it. Get over it. You're never going to run again. And I didn't give up. I didn't believe them. And I said, okay, what do I have to do? And nobody had an answer for me, so I decided to start swimming. And I never had swam before, and I still couldn't use my legs. I actually had to shuffle to the edge of the pool and fall into the water. I almost had to check the water with my shoulder and drag my legs through the pool and use my upper body. And I think that I had, even though I was using my upper body, I was pumping fresh blood through my legs, through my feet, and through a couple months, I was able to walk again, and started getting a lot healthier. And actually, 9 months after that doctor told me I was never going to run again, I ran a marathon, my first marathon, where I qualified for the Boston Marathon. So running that race and qualifying for Boston, it taught me that I could do anything as long as I didn't give up. So,
You're listening to Kacie Lauren Fischer. She's skating across the country right now. She's gone about 2,400 miles, set to break all kinds of records. I think, you remember Paul Terek. Paul just talked to us last week about getting a pair of skates, and I think Paul has potentially a challenge for you.
Why do you do this, man? Why, Rex, with the doing of
Bring it on, Paul.
I'm not challenging anybody. He's just like Ferran. He tries to get me beat up by an MMA guy. He's like, oh, he thinks he can take you.
Well, Kacie, what do you remember most about Paul? Because what you told me had me in hysterics.
Oh, no.
I said, of course I remember Paul with his shirt sleeves on his head, running around the track practicing for the pole vault.
Yeah, exactly. That about sums up my career, exactly.
That's all it was, right? And I only like to hang out with stylish, trendy athletes.
Yeah, bingo, right there. I was setting a fashion trend right there. I recycled my shirt sleeves.
Hey, Kacie, why the Special Olympics? Why does that touch your heart? Why are you raising money for those guys, and you selected them as the folks you wanted to represent during this big challenge?
I was originally introduced because I have a cousin that is involved with Special Olympics. So that's how I learned about the program. And I started teaching track when I was at Cal Poly. That's how I was even introduced. But as soon as I decided I am going to take on this challenge, it almost hand in hand really said it's for Special Olympics, because that's exactly what those athletes deal with. Challenges, problems, people saying you can't do it, and doing it. And I fully support athletics, bettering yourself, and that's what the Special Olympics encompasses to me.
Sharon Day, a former Olympian, was in track, similar time to you at Cal Poly. She's looking to go to those next Olympics. I heard Sharon say that, London is on her mind, and then Brazil in 2016. But her competitive look. She's going to be taking a big look at your world records, I think, here, and just already kind of scouting out what kind of pace you might have been at. And I think she's looking hard. I mean, you're not in studio, but I'm telling you, I look right at Sharon. All I can see is competition there, looking to break
Sharon.
and thrash.
And I know Sharon, and I know that if she even thinks about putting skates on, she's going to beat me. So bring it on, Sharon. I will get you your skates from Inline Warehouse, okay? So you tell me where.
All right, Kacie. Rex is just trying to start stuff over here in the studio.
Have you changed your event? What are you going to the Olympics for this year?
Heptathlon this time, maybe inline skating in 2016. I don't know.
No, it'll be the Winter Olympics for bobsled next. I mean, that's how it progresses as a multi-eventer. You get out of the multi-events and you go to bobsledding. But Kacie, here's an idea, though. I mean, you're already on the East Coast. Sharon is more than likely going to be at the Olympics. I mean, it would be a cheap flight over there. You could not only skate across the U.S., you could start on Europe. Just getting that out there.
Yeah, why not? I'm almost done with this.
Yeah, bingo. Why not?
Sharon, I was asked by one of our sponsors for Live Give Skate, who's the athlete that you look up to? And I think everyone thinks of famous, like Lance Armstrong because of this, and I actually did my whole interview on you.
Oh,
and I did my whole thing on you as an athlete, and honestly, I totally look up to you.
Aw, thank you.
I'm so proud of you for everything that you're doing.
I feel like there should be some sort of hug here or something,
Except
Can
for
we do
thousands
a
of miles
hug
away.
over the radio?
A little radio hug.
Virtual
I
hug.
don't think it's heat exhaustion that I have. Like, I really am.
So, Kacie, tell the listeners a little bit about the end of the schedule here. Again, you're listening to Kacie Lauren Fischer, skating across the country, set to break world records here. Fastest skater across, female. She's raising money for the Special Olympics. You can support her online. Look for her. She's on Facebook. She's on Twitter. Give us the rest of the schedule, what you anticipate, where the road is going to get tough, because I know you're going north. From here, you go Florida, and then you go back up north, and this thing ends in New York in July.
Yes, I've already been through Western Texas, so I don't think anything can get rougher than that. but we are set to be at the Atlantic Ocean, where I will be running into the ocean, probably wearing my skates, Friday. So, and if we get there Friday, that's going to be 49 days to get across the country, which is breaking the current men's Guinness World Record by 20 days.
Whoa, you're going to break the men's record, too. I thought we were just going after the female record.
Well, no other female has ever skated across the country, so whatever time frame I do, I'm the fastest. But I'm going after the men's record, and that is 69 days.
Wow, Paul Terek's ears just perked up.
No, they didn't. Nothing about my ears perked up. When you said she was skating across country, and I read it in the paper, I didn't think, man, I could beat her. I thought, man, good for her. But Rex is over here just stirring the pot. Nice job, Rex.
You know, leave Rex alone. I alone challenge Sharon and you, Paul, to a skate-off.
To a skate-off?
When I get back to San Luis Obispo...
To a skate... Wait. To a skate-off?
We will there will be no issue setting that up.
Name the distance. about 150 feet.
You know, Paul's not real into this long-distance stuff, Kacie. He's never been... too involved. So anything you want to leave the listeners with? I know I just want to make sure we covered everything, ways to support you. Again, Kacie Lauren Fischer here on Living the Run, skating across the country. Find her on Facebook. Find her on Twitter. She will set records, both female and male. Fastest, shooting for 49 days. If I could just say, I loved the quote that you talked about from Helen Keller. Your parents used to put into you, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Gosh, you've got to be taking that whole quote. You're using every part of that and putting some great stuff out there. Any last words before we go?
Well, through our whole mission, I'm not just trying to inspire people to go out and start rollerblading. Although if you want to, please let me know. There seems to be a big challenge going on.
I think that's Paul Terek's job. That's why he got the blades. He wants to inspire more folks to blade.
Yes, you've got me.
There's definitely bigger things here.
Yeah, what we want and what my goal is, is to inspire people to do things. And do things that they're scared of and that they think they can't do, because, you can do it. It just, sometimes it's hard and they're long and the roads are rough.
But you get there. The motto is tremendous, Kacie. We're so thankful for you coming on. It's a great Living the Run story. We hope to catch up with you right after you finish in July to get an update on how things went, how much money you raised, and how much you beat the record by, and what standard you've set out there. Thank you so much, Kacie Lauren Fischer, for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Kacie Lauren Fischer here on Living the Run. You can find more about her on our page, livingtherun.com, there as well as on facebook.com. Paul, tremendous interview, tremendous stuff. She's setting the bar high.
You know what I wondered, though, when she talked about going through Texas? I've been down there before. Has she hit an animal maybe? Like, is there a roadkill story along the way that she might have? Because I've actually, true story, I've hit a dog on a skateboard one time. Dog was okay, he took off. But so I thought I would paint myself a little dog shadow on my skateboard, like an old bomber. I'm just wondering if she's got an awesome story, like maybe she caught a bird to the helmet or something like that.
Interestingly enough, I did ask her about going through Texas when she told me she was going at 30 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, these different kind of speeds. I thought, this is incredible stuff. And she said it was so liberating because in Texas, and I had lived there, some of the roads weren't exactly too good. And she said at times they could only go no more than 2 to 3 miles an hour. Things were so bumpy, so rocky, just kind of so junky. And you can imagine trying to, just grind out 50, 60 miles at 2 to 3 miles an hour. I mean, it's not productive. It's not fun. Not in that smog, not in that heat. Definitely endurance and perseverance.
You take them skates off, and you got to think your feet are vibrating for like days after a road like that. I skated 50 miles on gravel essentially, and I've driven through Texas a couple times. And I just think like the end of the evening when most people will be relaxing, going, man, I really accomplished some stuff today. Her feet are probably just like zzz.
Hey, we want to get a little bit more, a couple quick questions from Olympian Sharon Day before she goes. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back more with Sharon Day.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff puts your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
The ultimate choice for sports massage in SLO County? Peak Performance. Conveniently located at SLO Wellness Center just blocks from Cal Poly is ready to assist you to reach your personal best. Calling all athletes and fitness enthusiasts. If you're ready to start alleviating symptoms by addressing the true problems, if you are seeking efficient and effective body work, then you can count on Peak Performance. Nagging injury, losing the bounce in your step, pain or tightness keeping you from training hard and reaching your goals? Raise your standards, raise your expectations. Call Peak Performance 543-8688.
Hey guys, Paul Terek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, SLO Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at SLO Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, SLO Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Since 1929, Standard Process has been dedicated to providing the highest quality whole food supplements. Their philosophy is simple: to provide nutrients as they are found in nature. Today, scientists are finding more and more evidence demonstrating the benefits of whole food nutrients over high-dose synthetic vitamins. Standard Process's unique products are sold through healthcare professionals who are trained in using whole food nutrition as the first line of defense for the body. Visit www.standardprocess.com for more information or to find a Standard Process healthcare practitioner near you.
We're back with Living the Run.
Great interview with Kacie Fischer, skating across the country, but we're in studio. Been fortunate to be in studio all day here with Sharon Day, Olympian in 2008 in the high jump, looking to go in 2012 in the heptathlon. Sharon, tell us a little bit. I always want to ask you this. You know, people always say don't look ahead, right? Don't look ahead to the next event. Take on your opponent if it's a team sport. In this case, take on the trials first. I listened to your video. You talked about the future of yourself as an athlete. 2012, you're shooting for London. 2016, you mentioned Brazil. I think it's okay it seems okay to look ahead in some ways. What do you think they mean by that? And when you look at the Olympic trials versus the Olympics, like Paul was talking about a little bit earlier, how do you view these two separate big events? Certainly, you got to make it in the Olympic trials, but at the same time, maybe you're not giving it, what you would do with it. I guess my question is how is it different for you as an athlete, or is it different?
Well, I think for the trials, I'm just looking to go in and compete because I already have my Olympic A standard, so that's one piece of the puzzle out of the way, and so now I'm just trying to get top 3. So that's kind of whatever that takes. It's not like I really have a goal as to how many points I want to score, or I just want to place in the top 3, and then I'm guaranteed a spot on the Olympic team. So that's kind of my goal for the trials, is just to compete, get in that top 3 spot, and I'll make the team.
One thing Sharon won't say because she's too modest, but there's 2 groups of athletes that go to the, there's kind of 3, but for the most part, there's 2 groups of athletes that go to the Olympic trials. There's the people who are happy to be there, excited, hoping for a spot, and there's a far out chance that they might make an Olympic team. And then there's athletes like Sharon who, she's expected to realistically, she's expected to make the team. She's expected by herself, by her coach, her sponsors, everyone who's known her in the past and knows what she's capable of. It's kind of one of those things that if she just goes in, does the basics, she doesn't have to have a great meet, just don't screw anything up real bad. Really, she's probably just going to use it as a training meet, in order to get to the games. She's not going to have to be at the top of her game to make the team, but she's just going to have to be firing on all cylinders essentially. So there is a big difference. There's a lot of other people. This is like the end of their season, the Olympic trials. It gets hard for Sharon because, like you said, you can't put the cart before the horse and start just focusing on the trials, or you might, trip and miss or start focusing on the games because you might trip up and not make the team. But at the same time, you can't put all your focus on the Olympic trials and say, I really got to go, because then you're going to be exhausted after the trials and not ready for the Olympics. So
you listen to Living the Run here on ESPN 1280, The Ticket. We got Sharon Day, Olympian, in studio. Sharon, take that then to what you learned in 2008 from those Olympics, the pressure that comes with your first Olympics, going now, different. You're doing the heptathlon instead of the high jump, but now you're in your second Olympics. Does this help? Does it not matter? How does it go in? Do you feel that the pressure has decreased? Do you feel like the experiences were so valuable? And what were those experiences that may be valuable that make it easier to transition into London?
It's definitely, having competed in the Olympics in 2008 and the trials in 2008 makes this upcoming trials a little bit less pressure. I mean, there's still pressure, and I'm still going to be nervous. I'm still going to have a lot of nervous energy and stuff like that. But having that knowledge of what it's like and how it's going to be definitely makes it a little bit easier. But also at the same time, too, I would say it's still different because as an individual event athlete, I would say there's a lot more nerves and a lot more pressure because you have, it's just like one thing, and if you screw it up, that's it. But it's like in a heptathlon, I could have maybe a bad, high jump day, but still make up for it in 6 other events. And so in that sense, where I'm a little bit not as nervous,
more
because
comforting.
Of that, and it's a little more comforting knowing that if I have a bad event, I can still make it up and do better the rest of the events.
But let's be honest, a bad high jump day for Sharon is going to be like a huge day for somebody else. She's like, I had a really bad day today, and the other girl's like, you only beat me by 6 inches. You know what I mean? There's a big difference there.
Yeah, that was a terrible example.
Yeah, that was a bad example. That was a really bad example. I had a bad day. I only beat him by 100 points.
But if I had a
200.
bad day, if I was doing the open high jump, I wouldn't make the team. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when you put it in perspective, Sharon, it just makes sense when you use facts and logic.
I thought it was just the pressure of being in here in studio with us. Living the run on the radio. It got the nerves going. You posted something funny the other day. Waking up to the drug testers. That goes over really well, I'm sure. Well, of course, Lance Armstrong, wrote a book, and he was kind of the notorious guy that they were all over drug testing. How prevalent is it? How frequently have you seen it? Has it changed since 2008 when you were going to be competing over the last 4 years? Has it been more frequent, less frequent? They're coming in and getting those drug testing.
I'd say it's about the same as far as frequency. They can randomly test me whenever they please, and usually it's at 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm still in bed, and they come knocking on the door, and I have to get up and pee in a cup.
Well, yeah, there's also the thing too is there's also unless they've changed it recently, there's two organizations testing you. There's IAAF and then there's WADA, World Anti-Doping, and there's U.S. Anti-Doping, and they both have different requirements and different time frames. And you have to fill out I know for U.S. Anti-Doping, you have to fill out your time schedule every 3 months of where you're going to, is that still the same?
Yeah, it's still the same.
Where you're going to be at for the
Your
next
whereabouts.
3 months. And if you vary by more than 2 hours, you have to notify them. Because twice I've had somebody show up at my house, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like 500 miles away. I'm not going to make it. And you have to try to sort that out, and there's a whole process you have to go through.
Talk about the among you guys athletes, both you guys, but Sharon, what's the talk among athletes with regards to doping, drugs? You go to some of these top meets. Is it even an issue among the athletes? Do the athletes talk about this stuff? Is it one of those things that's more hush-hush among the athletes, but more pervade in the media, and the media kind of makes this thing bigger than it actually is?
No, it's definitely something that athletes talk about when we're together, especially like what Paul was saying, how people have shown up at his door and he's 500 miles away. That's kind of one of the biggest concerns that athletes have, is that you basically have to notify them of your whereabouts like 24/7, because they could show up at any time. And so if you don't, and they show up and you're not there where you say you were going to be or you're supposed to be, you can get what's called a missed test. And if you accumulate more than 3 of those, you can get a suspension or other.
Same as a positive test, isn't it? If you have 3 missed tests in an 18-month period, isn't that how it works?
Exactly, yeah. So it's a lot of repercussions if you don't have your schedule updated. And so a lot of times people have family emergencies, or life gets in the way, and you can't always update your schedule to the minute or to the hour. So it can be difficult, and so that's one of the biggest concerns that athletes have most of the time.
It seems like when you talked about professional baseball, professional football, the athletes, it seems that they were under pressure a lot from trainers, coaches, doctors, who may have been putting some of these performance enhancement type things on them, even if they were being disguised as lotions, potions, vitamins kind of thing. Is that prevalent in track? Does it seem like there's a pressure out there to be trying to take the next performance enhancement, even if it's not labeled a drug, from the protein supplements to the vitamins to these creams, like I said, potions, lotions?
From my experiences, that's not that. I haven't experienced that really at all. It's not really how it is. And I think that all of us as athletes understand the reason why we are tested this way, and we're more than happy to provide samples so that we can prove, that we're competing clean and that it's, a fair playing field. It just gets kind of frustrating sometimes with all of the, political part of it, and having to tell someone where you are 24/7. It's just, can be difficult, but we understand the need for it and are happy to provide our clean samples to prove that, we're providing a fair playing field and competing clean.
One of the things that always frustrated me was the people that, they took away credibility from the athletes when they would stand there. It's inevitable that somebody is going to test positive, because there's people out there who believe that winning is more, they don't believe in the Olympic motto where it's not the win or the victory, it's the taking part kind of thing, and that's really what's got to be important to you. And if it's not, and if winning is what's important and finishing first is what's important, by all means, you're going to run into those people and they're going to get busted eventually. The frustrating part to me was when those guys would stand up and look. I mean, and I've known a couple of them that were on teams with them. I've talked with them. We've laughed together and everything. And they'll look you in the eye and talk about how bad drug usage is and that's ridiculous and everything else. And then not 6 months later, oh, he tested positive for some hormone or something else that he knew he was taking. And then it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to roll over on everybody else now. And I think that's a good part of it. Turning everybody else in that's with it. But it's like the frustrating part to me, I think, out of all of it was, it's not like everybody who gets approached by somebody says yes. Whether it's a guy selling the performance enhancing drugs or a trainer selling that. It's not like every athlete he goes to says yes, and it's not like an athlete, when he's looking for it, goes to somebody and they just say yes. There's people that say no, but then don't ever turn anybody in because he's a good friend, he probably won't find anything or whatever else. And that's, to me, that was a really frustrating part of the sport.
You excited for this next couple weeks, Sharon, and then what's to come up here? I know you got to be chomping at the bit. What's the travel schedule coming up? I know 29th, 30th. How far in advance do you get to Eugene before to get yourself familiar?
I get there on Wednesday, the 27th, that morning, just a couple days ahead of time. Yeah, and I'll be ready to go, ready to roll, ready to compete.
Ready to rock. Well, you can follow Sharon Day on Facebook. You can follow her on usatf.org to watch her on the 29th and the 30th. I'm sure it will be on TV as well. Follow her, support her, local, tremendous athlete, Olympian once, looking to do it twice. Sharon, thanks for being a fan of Living the Run, for coming in for a second visit, despite the potential for Paul being a dirty mess in studio. It's it didn't seem to waver you from still making it in. We wanted to give you a $20 gift card from Jaffa Cafe, our favorite Mediterranean food. Here, I had a pesto wrap today.
And there's your $20 gift card. He had a pesto wrap. Thank you, Shane.
A little hummus. Don't let Dan use it all. You are the working athlete. You are the one that needs the fuel in those muscles. Again, thanks so much for joining us in studio.
My pleasure.
Paul and I will be back to wrap up the show in moments.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
My name is Chris Randolph, and as a local track and field Olympic hopeful, I've been seeing Brian Quigley at Slow Wellness Center to help me with injury recovery during my season. Brian has not only helped me with some very extensive injuries, but has also educated me on the specifics of how my body moves when I compete. His knowledge and touch has helped me achieve personal bests in my competition and has also helped me in injury prevention. Becoming a wellness patient of his has helped me stop my injuries before they start, making time spent recovering shorter, leaving more time spent training for my goals. From injury prevention to wellness, Brian understands the patient and holistically helps them achieve their personal health-related goals. So check out Brian Quigley at peakperformanceslo.com and find him on Facebook and comment a response to this ad and get a complimentary 60-minute massage.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Slow Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
This is really cool, Dad.
Yep, nothing better than camping out under the stars.
Do you think there's any bears out here?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Look, there's the Big Dipper.
Wow, cool.
At Four Seasons Outfitters, they can help you create an outdoor family adventure.
Hey, can we try out my new fishing pool tomorrow?
Sure. Hey, want to roast another marshmallow?
Oh, yeah.
For camping and hiking equipment or fishing and hunting gear, Four Seasons is your hometown outdoor outfitter.
Did you and Grandpa go camping when you were little?
We sure did.
Did you see any bears?
Nope, no bears.
You'll find backpacks and tents, freshwater and deep-sea fishing equipment, campfire cooking supplies, guns and ammo, everything you'll need for your next outdoor adventure.
Hi, guys. Dad.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hi, Mom.
So how are my 2 campers doing? Do you want me to leave the porch light on?
Maybe. Just in case there's a bear.
Even if it's in your own backyard. Four Seasons Outfitters, your outdoor adventure headquarters for more than 25 years. 432 High Garra, San Luis Obispo.
We're back with Living the Run.
Paul, how do we get so lucky with such tremendous interviews? Incredible stuff. Sharon Day, she just reeks of athleticism. You've seen her progress over the years, from a high jumper now into one of the most talented heptathletes in the world. Number 1 here in the U.S. This year. Just incredible stuff.
Well, we get them because you offer them $20 gift cards, right? Right. I mean, I think that's what it says about the food that's available in San Luis. It's a good gift card will get a good interview.
It's a question we should have asked Kacie Fischer, who was also just a fantastic guest, skating across the country. She's already skated over 2,400 miles in 40 days or whatever she's done thus far.
49 or something right now.
I think she's trying to finish it in 49, but regardless, look her up. And I just think calorically, what must she be consuming every day just to be able to get in that 60 miles, 70 miles? She even talked about throwing in a 100-miler on one of those days.
Yeah, I don't know. Rollerblading is all fun. I'm sorry, inline skating is all. It's a lot of fun. I can't imagine doing it for 100 miles in a day. I mean, I do it for like 20 minutes, and it's like my hips and my back are sore, and I'm like, man, I'm done with this. But then, I don't really want to complain because now she's inline skated across the country, so it's like, who can I complain to? What can I say? Oh, I'm really sore, my back's sore. Rollerbladed for an hour today.
Well, we had Aaron Taves on, scout from the Washington Capitals, just a couple weeks ago, or about a month ago now, and he actually texted into Living the Run or on Facebook and said, man, I used to skate a lot, but that's taken it to the new level.
Yeah.
And it's just absolute incredible stuff. But, next week, more good guests. Jordan Hasse, also a friend of Living the Run. She just won Pac-10. She took third in national championships in the 1,500 meters. She was going to be calling us from Oregon. We're going to talk about her run here at the Olympic trials, as well as Judd Clark, coach of Puma and sponsor of Living the Run, is bringing in a remarkable story. High school athlete, one of the only high school athletes who's going to be competing in the swimming Olympic trials from Slow High. So another great guest. Paul, we're blessed to be around great athletes. Look what you bring in.
Yeah, I'm sure that's something to my credit, of course. Yes.
Well, tips and takeaways, Paul. What'd you learn from today's show? What can we take away for next week?
Kacie made a good point, challenging yourself, doing things that you're not going to succeed at, doing things, you have to fail. Yeah, that's kind of the big point. If you don't fail, you're not trying hard enough. You're not challenging yourself enough. You can't always do things you're going to succeed at.
Yeah, and I guess what you're talking about there is not being afraid to fail, not being afraid to take on new things. And we talk about that all the time here on Living the Run is you got to get active, you got to get moving. There's a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of things that may take you out of your comfort zone, but getting out of that comfort zone sometimes is those little battles that give rewards both physically and mentally down the way.
Yeah, if you're accomplishing all your goals, they're just not high enough.
And I think she actually said something like that. You're absolutely right. Once you reach one, you go to the next. Again, thanks to Kacie Fischer for talking to us out there in Florida. Good luck to her the rest of the way. We'll check in with her in July. Thanks to Sharon Day, Olympian. Thanks to all our sponsors. Next week, again, Jordan Hasse, Judd Clark, and an Olympic trial swimmer from the high school. Folks, remember, live bold, live healthy, live the run.